At the start, I wasn't really passionate about Korean pear juice, but definitely am now.
So our philosophy is to be the most accessible hangover prevention product in the market.
Bay juice, 100% Korean pear juice. Drink me before alcohol.
So it's 100% natural, helps your hangovers. It's from Korea.
Have you figured out the science behind why?
So there's an enzyme in there called DHM that sort of speeds up your metabolism of alcohol.
How did that even happen?
Anytime in your whole life you ever have a decision, just choose the one that excites you a little bit more than the other one.
What's the one reason why businesses fail?
It's just so obvious. And I cannot believe brands are still...
Hi, I'm Adam Metwally, and welcome to That One Time podcast, where we explore the pillars of health, wealth, and wisdom through interesting conversations with interesting people. Today's guests, Tim O'Sullivan and Liam Gostinik, are the co-founders of Australian hangover cure drink Bay Juice. The conversation explores the challenges of building a startup, the importance of hustle, finding and maintaining strong co-founder relationships, storytelling, social media, and much more. I hope you enjoy this episode. If you do, and you haven't already, please give the podcast a like, review, subscribe, all of that fun stuff, as we're on a journey towards 1,000 subscribers, and this means so much to us and really helps more than you could ever imagine. Enjoy the episode. Tim, Liam, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Of course.
Unbelievable to be here.
Appreciate you guys being our dry run for our new studio in Chelsea, New York.
That's great.
Pretty cool, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good. And it's also
Some
good
dungeon
seeing
of a bar.
more Aussies in the wild.
These are the only two.
Yeah.
This is it.
Oh, too good. But no, it's good to be here. We love it. The city's amazing.
It's crazy, right?
We've had a pretty crazy 20 days.
I bet.
It's been.
I bet. And we met through a weird referral.
Yes.
Raleigh introduced us.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, shout out to Raleigh. He's been
Weird.
good.
Yeah, random. That was
It's
so
so
random.
good here. Everyone this is a connecting kind of environment.
Yeah.
It's good. I love it.
That's great. And thanks for not replying to my DM from last year. So yeah.
Wait, did we?
Yeah, I DM'd you last year and said, hey, I've got a festival. Do you guys want to do like a pop-up? No reply.
Scene.
Not even saying,
You know,
undelivered.
when was it? Was it in December?
It was December, Jan, and like March last year.
Yeah, okay. Well, like we had no stock, so that's probably why. Yeah. Probably
Why do you hate me?
Yeah. And we thought you were a bit of a dickhead. But,
And now I've solidified that.
But it's good to be here.
Brilliant. Well, thank you. And yeah, we'll get into it. So I don't know if you want to do this as a group or individually, but if you'd like to give an elevator pitch of who you are individually, what you're doing and how you're contributing to the world, what would that sound like? You can float in and out of the business and individually.
Nice. Well, I guess on a business level, we're sort of trying to create a whole new sort of category of beverage, which is kind of cool. We're really proud about that. It's very cool being the first to market with an idea that no one else is doing, which is pretty cool. So it's 100% natural. It helps your hangovers. It's from Korea.
Yeah.
We stumbled upon it. We're best mates. We've launched it. We're just going at this thing blindly. So it's pretty awesome. We get to make our own decisions. We do sampling ourselves. We get to have days off. Like, it's pretty sick what we're doing.
Well, you have days off? That's crazy.
But it's pretty amazing, like, just to take a step back sometimes to look at what we're doing as friends, as a business, which is transitioning into just fun, and we love what we do. We get to go out, we get to meet people, we get to talk about our journey on places like concepts like this. So it's amazing. Life's good. Like, business is good, life's good. Love living in Melbourne, love getting to travel with what we do, what we're passionate about. So I consider myself a pretty lucky individual, but I think through my own energy and own passions that it sort of has led us here as well. We sort of haven't just lucked out over 5.5 years trying to build this thing. So yeah.
Nice. And yourself?
Yeah, pretty like.
So your elevator pitch of who you are,
It's
what you're doing and how you contribute.
so I'm like Liam. I'm obviously a co-founder alongside my good old buddy here at Tim. I think we're just two guys that maybe the old cookie cutter approach wasn't. We weren't cut out for this. We pissed our education up the wall. Essentially, like at school.
Oh yeah,
At
what
school,
a
we didn't
waste.
really I went to uni for 3 days. Didn't know, like, was late to my first shoot. Needed to like sit down on the toilet. Sat down on the toilet and just thought, fuck it, I'm deferring, and just went home. And then I, pretty much like I thought, I was pretty good at with people. I'm So I thought, therefore, maybe a career in sales of some sort would be a good fit as well. And so I saw that I went into real estate. Thought I was king of the world, walking around Melbourne in a suit, and then but Tim and I were always thinking outside the box. I think if I can be really cliche there, like what can we do? How can we make some money together in certain ideas, and just really, I don't know, find something to do, I guess, because we weren't really doing much. So and then a chance meeting on Tinder, Tim's ex-girlfriend and our business partner now, still Sue Min. And then, Korea was the answer, essentially, for us. Really, I think it sort of let us off the leash.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And what's the context of the early years that kind of allow us to understand you guys? And how you got to this point and why
For
this
me,
made sense?
I got expelled from high school.
Nice.
I was always the first one to smoke weed, the first one to drink at the car park at 16, the first one to start smoking. So I always thought I was a bit of a hero.
Do you still think so?
Absolutely. The size of his head.
But so trying to be a bit of a hero like that, then gone to a different school, being let loose straight into a whole new high school, it kind of brought me back down a little bit. I was always pretty relaxed about my journey and my future. Watching people line up for exams at school were freaking the fuck out. Like, people were having aneurysms out the front of these gyms. And I was just sitting there.
And they were prepared. We
weren't. And I was like, was this math or English? And so people were freaking out. And I've always just been so chill about it. And I think that's really helped pave my way to find my thing. I did landscaping. I did this. I did fucking Macca's, plumbing. I traveled a little bit. Just did it all. Did it all just to see what I'd be interested in. And I was always just pretty happy scooting through, and it was just a really great way to be, I personally think. And then I found my calling in hospitality. So I've got a cafe in Melbourne. I've had a restaurant and dabbled in that. It's called Benny and Me Cafe in Essendon, the Don. And I love it. It was 7 years. We brought it and it was like 30 seats, and now it's about 110. We've sort of just expanded each year and grown a team of 38 staff. And I just loved it. I just loved running around doing coffee. I loved doing the social media. I loved talking to everyone. And then that sort of transitioned into sort of maybe me being pretty ready to launch our own business, just through all the margins, the dealing with staff, all the problem solution stuff that you get in hospitality, which is endless. So that sort of paved my way, I reckon, from school to just my nature to then finding something I love to then just, evolving through, different things.
Cool. And you?
Yeah, I was like fairly carefree as well. I think early days for me, I was really, really outcome focused. I wanted to fucking be rich, and I wanted to get rich quick, right? And a bit of work to do still. So I think there was like part of me that didn't really want to put my head down, bum up, and get stuck in, but which has changed now. So, but that's why, like, that attitude at the start got me into real estate, which really opened my eyes to the world and what it actually takes to be successful. Like, some of these guys that I used to work with, like, I just didn't even know how they could maintain families outside the office. Like, they work. Well, like it appeared they did. They have certainly kept that appearance up for sure. But that was a really good understanding then, and that's when I was like, right, this isn't for me, because these guys are way hungrier than I am. So I'm just not going to compete with that because I don't care as much as they do. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. So that was a really good lesson to learn. To learn pretty early in life. Yeah. Okay. I think I was subtly fucking around with that.
Nah, you're all good. You got it.
Yeah. So that's what sort of landed us here. And, I think, at the start I wasn't really passionate about Korean pear juice, but
you're not passionate about Korean pear juice?
But definitely am now. Definitely are now. But it was more so following a passion of like doing your own thing, doing going out on your own, taking a risk, going out on your own, and that's what, and working with this Yahoo.
Well, that's a good lead into the next question. So what was the exact kind of moment or situation that sparked this? Because it seems kind of strange on first reflection.
Oh, absolutely.
So I actually haven't had one of these yet, so should we just do that real quick?
Yeah. Get it in,
So we've got bay juice, 100% Korean pear juice. Drink me before alcohol. I don't drink.
Yeah, still
drink.
Completely.
No,
at all.
It's been like 2 years.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah, I'm driving. That's my I'm just driving. Just driving so much.
Oh, so jealous though. Fuck, it'd be nice to just
have
2 years of clarity.
Have you tried just stopping?
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah, 100%.
Stopping what?
the drinking.
No,
Just being like,
drinking.
no. Just start saying I'm driving.
It's
Say,
on brand.
I will
That's
say,
on brand.
I will say this. I did say this to Tim before we came here. I said, like you, like,
Is that good, is it?
but I was like, you know, I love drinking. I really do. Like, and like I love going out and having a laugh and spending with mates, family, friends, whatever it is. But I've never heard someone who's stopped drinking complain about not drinking. You know what I mean? No one, like a lot of people are like enjoying drinking, but then also complaining about, you know, drinking alcohol and what's drinking alcohol, you know, puts them in different scenarios and, you know, regret and all that kind of stuff. But anyone who has given up the piss is always so positive about it.
Oh, true.
And so like there is an underlying tone there, but like he is, yeah, I think in moderation, but that is, we're selling a hangover prevention drink.
I know.
yeah, no. You're in it for the rest of your life.
Like, you know, would you buy a car off a guy who doesn't drive cars?
Depends.
Did he tell us that while he's selling the car, or did we find that out later?
No. Well, I think if you found out that you got
Right. So what sort of dealership is this?
I was
What
trying
sort of
to
racket are you running?
that sounded so
Racket.
smart in my head. It appears now not so smart, but anyway.
That's all right.
But
But
you get what I'm trying to say here.
Are we
get your
talking about
point,
the
yeah.
spark of when we started the business, or
Yes,
the
yes.
idea?
yep.
Well, it really started with experiencing it for myself in South Korea with Sumin. So we'd been dating for a year, and then she said, look, it's finally time to come to Seoul, meet all my family, friends, aunties, uncles, you name it. So I flew over there, and just day one, it was just soju, plum wine, rice wine, and it just gives you this blackout drunkenness.
Yeah.
So it was massive nights for 2-3 weeks meeting everyone, and it's such a social drinking culture. It's just part of, you know, there's a new person at work, you go get blind. You know, any milestone, you go out and you drink. It's such a big culture. So I was out every single night and just drinking heaps.
Yeah.
But Sumin's mum and Sumin's friends just kept stopping at convenience stores, and everyone would have a quick little convenience store break at 1 o'clock on the way home.
Yeah.
I'd buy a pack of durries and get another beer to walk home with, and everyone's drinking juices and vials and shots and all these different drinks. And I was just sort of so weird. Didn't take much into it, didn't look too into it until Sumin gave me a couple of these beverages. Drank them, woke up, felt great. And I was like, oh, that's
weird.
it's just I forgot, you know, there's no hangovers on holidays. You just wake up, you got nothing to do.
Yeah.
And then Sumin's mum started going, how do you feel from the pear juice? I was like, good. It was tasty. And then Sumin started translating, saying, oh, like as if you didn't know that Korean pear juice helps your hangover. So it's kind of mind blowing.
So do you know what
it was
is
just
actually, is there like, have you figured out the science behind why?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what made us start. Yeah, we started researching it. CSIRO had reports, and Seoul University, and everyone had. So there's an enzyme in there called DHM
Yeah.
that sort of speeds up your metabolism of alcohol.
Specifically the Korean pears. Only
Yeah,
the Korean
literally.
pears.
Literally.
That is, how did that even happen?
Yeah.
Wow, what happened was that?
When a mummy and a daddy pair love each other.
Well done, bravo. But it is insane, and that was our spark. So there you go. That's the spark was came back to Melbourne. It wasn't available anywhere here.
Yep.
Liam had some amazing experiences. We did heaps of market research. At the cafe every morning on a Friday, I'd give someone their latte and then a bay juice from the fridge, and just did sampling that way through the cafe.
Yeah.
And then people would come in next week saying, what the hell was that shit you gave me? And it's all in Korean, and it was like a terrible rip packet. It was just a shit show. But everyone had really good experiences from it. So we're like, right, it's cheap to manufacture. It's tasty. It helps your hangovers. It's completely natural, and they don't, you can't buy it in Australia.
Not a bad
Exactly.
start.
So it was a pretty good start. Then there's the free trade agreements, and it was all this.
Yeah.
We found a manufacturer so easily, which is insane. And they shared our vision. So
It also snowballed pretty quickly.
and it all fell into place nicely. Yeah.
And then I was working in real estate still at the time, and we had this outsourced marketing agency that we used for all our like sort of brochures and IMs and all that kind of stuff. And they were really like, sort of kind of hip, piercings, tattoos, and they were just doing all this design work for this real estate company that it was just so boring for them. So I just thought if we could throw them a bone, give them just let them off the leash,
Something fun,
essentially say,
Yeah.
no rules here. This is the product.
Yeah.
And then with a few tweaks, they sort of nailed it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fun what happens when you give good creatives just freedom to do whatever the fuck they want.
correct.
We're good at that. Like we really do. Like we let people that
I am
expertise.
completely unprepared to figure it out. Can you put your mic forward a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
Go up.
So we've always been pretty good at letting people do their thing, I reckon.
Yeah. That's a key thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Let them off the leash and let them figure it out.
100%.
Yeah.
Bit of a theme today, isn't it?
Hungry, broke, creative.
Yeah.
They're the best kind. For what was going into this? Well, actually, let's take where are you at now? What's a snapshot in time right now? What's the revenue? What's the expansion plans? How long have you been trading? Let's do that quickly and
Cool,
we'll dig
nice.
into the history.
Yeah, cool. So we've been trading since 2019. We got our first win mid to 2020 during COVID with the Woolies deal. Big supermarkets, obviously, in Australia. So where Australia sits now, we're in about 5,500 stores. The revenue in
By
Australia,
September,
by September, we're rolling out to some new ones. And essentially, revenue is probably about $2.5-3 million in Australia. And then obviously we launched in New York. In America in December, selling up on Amazon and our website, and then we've got a great distribution partner here in New York City in Queens, Gold Coast distribution.
I need an intro.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in about 160 stores at the moment, and sort of implementing at this stage. Not throwing the kitchen sink financially at it, but certainly trying different things. Obviously wasting some money, but that's just part and parcel comes with the territory. And I think we were able to sort of identify some things that worked in Australia that maybe we didn't implement sort of early enough in that side of the business. So we've been able to put it into gear here from day one. So it's been really valuable.
We've done 2 raises as well. We did $500,000 about 18 months ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
A bit longer. So $500,000 just to get us US ready, a bit of a backlog in stock because we've been really sort of rapidly growing our sales.
Yep.
So we did stock, got US ready, which took ages.
Really?
Oh, it was FDA had to visit our manufacturer's compliance on the packaging. So it's ounces rather than mils. So now we got 2 different, packagings in our warehouses and 2 forecasts. Had to make some hires here, PR agency here. Start doing a whole marketing strategy for here. So it was about an 18-month sort of journey, really, to get to product on shelf in New York, which is wild.
Yeah, and the other thing about that is we're pretty strict in Australia with food standards and and making health claims and all this kind of stuff. So we've had a couple of slaps on the wrist every now and then with the way we market our product and things that we're saying about it. But I think our assumption there was that maybe America might be a bit more lenient when it comes to that.
It's the opposite.
And it's the opposite.
Yeah.
So in America,
we're going to get away with murder here.
So in America, the hangover is seen as a medical condition. So if you're hungover, go to your GP.
Yeah, wow.
But so they're even more strict on that angle as well. Much more so than Australia.
Yeah.
But
and then we followed that $500,000 raise. We just did another mil in March.
Yeah.
Which was pretty crazy. Backed by an awesome family office called Lance East Office. And his name is Lawrence. He's a crazy billionaire from Perth.
Classic.
And he loved the product. Googled it, read all of our different PR and all of our story. He goes, what a cool story. Real founder shit, all for it. And then his team contacted us 6 months later, gave us $750K. They have introduced us to everyone. We had dinner with one of the guys last night. And we just have been so lucky to land these guys because people talk about, the pain points of doing a raise. It's pretty full on. And everyone's talking about how difficult it is. It took us 12 months to find someone. We're like, someone cold messaged us on LinkedIn saying, hey, we'd like to give you money. Give us a call. And that was the guy Horst, who the guy with last night. And then 6 months later, we had cash in the door and we're hanging out with him on his boat in Perth and driving his Lamborghinis around. It's fucking mayhem. So you definitely create your own luck, but it was pretty wild experience going through that sort of raise and sort of building all that together. It was nuts.
It's another world. I think we've been pretty fortunate with finding people that not only believe in the product but believe in us too and Sumin as well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. On that note, if you were to put it down to maybe 1 or 2 key things that led to that cold DM from this guy. Like, what do you think it was that put you guys outside of the hundreds of other businesses that, you know, he might have come across over the last year or two?
Yeah, well, I just think it's a collection of certain things. Like the PR's the big angle as well. Like, you know, we spent money with PR agencies and they were good and they were bad. But you know, what was like sort of underpinning that the whole time was just a hustle between the two of us, more so Tim as well, for this side of the business, just annoying, you know, to journalists on LinkedIn essentially, right?
Really?
Yeah.
So run me through that.
So, well, you know, it's hard to get, you know, like any sort of write up anywhere. But you know, it was a Forbes article that these guys really read and loved as well.
Nice.
But again, that was the Forbes guys emailed us saying we'd like to cover you.
Okay.
But
So what is it? What is it?
But I think that's
you pay a PR agency to get that.
Okay.
And he's just reached out going, hey, I'd love to do a feature on you guys. So
And we thought he was talking about the raise that we were doing, but it was like he wanted to do start to finish. And that would have been a dream for us at the start, but unachievable. But because I think it was a reward for, you know, like just hustling ourselves to get in.
But we so the outcome of like how we've sort of landed that deal and what sort of led to it was definitely us just constantly selling our story.
Yeah.
It was a barista, a real estate agent, and a hairdresser have launched a hangover prevention drink.
Walk into a bar.
That'd
That'd probably be a really good like marketing angle.
That's good.
Have you done that already?
No. But we
so
sell those
a
three
barista,
together.
a hairdresser, and what was the one?
Real
is
estate
that?
agent.
Real estate
Yeah.
agent.
Barista, a hairdresser, and a real estate agent walk into a bar. What happened?
Oh, that's good. I like it. We came up with it over a few drinks as well. But yeah, we've sold our story so well.
Yeah.
We've been authentic the whole time, so we tell people about our mistakes. I posted a screenshot of our bank account about 3 years ago onto LinkedIn, and we had 3 cents in it, and we'd just landed Woolies. So it's like two Aussies land multi-million-dollar deal. So everyone kept hitting us up going, fuck yeah, thinking we've made multiple millions of dollars.
The funny thing as well,
So it was just like, well, just to shut up the critics, no, we have 3 cents.
The
We've got 1,000 likes.
The
as
funny
well.
thing about having 3 cents in your bank account is it's like it's almost worse than having zero because you can't spend it anyway. Like, so it's a bit more of a kick in the face.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like, I think like one thing like Tim said, which is bang on, is just like selling that story angle and giving some personality to our brand. Because, you know, essentially we want people to in Australia and hopefully here one day soon as well, walk in a store and go and feel like they sort of know the people behind the brand as well.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and hopefully like us and then therefore go and buy the product.
Is that happening?
Yeah,
We think so.
I think so.
We think so. All of our sales are up across all retailers in Australia, and it's been 6 months of us posting 1 or 2 reels a day. So you'd like to think that natural trend in sales plus the absolute ×5 amount of content we're putting out there, you'd assume so, right? Like you'd hope so. And then there's the word of mouth over, you know, extended period.
So content has been a huge element to the success.
Game changer. Because you always hunt the one video for 100,000 likes, right? Or you're so excited to get a 10K views on a video. But if you're putting out 20 videos a month and they all get 5 or 10,000 views, you've got there.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
just rather than hunting that one monster kind of video to go viral, just having a collective of really good content with just pretty consistent views. And we're putting all sorts of different content out there. Silly skits, podcast clips, sampling, us out on the road doing sales so people can see what we're doing as founders. And I think it's playing a massive part. I really do.
Yeah, and it helps us sell the lifestyle, you know, that we're trying to sort of, you know, I suppose like put out to the world and then, you know, sell the story as well. And like Tim said, I think it really, you know, that little hustling sort of guerrilla marketing showing that we are still doing that. And we're not just doing that just to show people that we are doing it because like we generally believe that's so valuable to the business and we love to do it. But in Australia, you know, there's that tall poppy syndrome that actually exists. So
we talk about this a lot.
So and like here, everyone's like so happy for you, like, yep, you know, blah, blah, blah. But like in Australia, you know, we're getting to a point where people go, I'm sure, going, fuck these guys. You know, but if they're seeing us, you know, absolutely just like sweating it out on a 35-degree day, adding product out, I think that definitely sort of helps that cause.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be successful if you're not working at the front.
Yes,
in
correct.
Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
You
it's
get
insane,
torn
isn't
down.
it? Oh, it really is. He is just so refreshing.
Yeah.
So
it's so
refreshing
good.
here.
That's why I'm here.
Are you refreshed?
Yeah, I mean, the city's draining, but it's also inspiring at the same time. So it's a very It's a weird one that where you kind of like have both extremes at all times.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those cities where you just don't really have much time to sort of sit down and relax, which has its positives and negatives, I guess.
Yeah, that's why everyone goes upstate or to the Hamptons at any opportunity possible.
Okay.
To get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's part of it. Yeah. So a common thread I'm hearing here is storytelling. So what's the value of storytelling in the success of the business, and what are some key insights you have around how to tell a good story?
I think storytelling just goes across so many platforms as well. So not only is it great for content, not only is it great for a consumer to learn more about the brand or to talk about on a podcast, but we pitch it into retail as well. So the retailers love hearing about, the whole story. They love seeing we're doing all the PR. They love the whole concept of it. So you just naturally get a bit more emotionally connected to the brand. You just have to, right? And I think for us, a big shift was doing these amazing photo shoots of the product and it looking beautiful and great, and it costing $10,000 and it getting 11 likes.
Yeah.
That took us 8 hours.
Yeah.
And in 2 days of editing, we got 11 likes.
And fussed over it the whole time we were there, like just nuts.
And then we go behind the camera and you sort of carry on a little bit and say, hey guys, we're going to be giving out stock here today. Come and hang out with us. It gets 5,000 or 6,000 views and people are sharing it, commenting, saying sick, bugger, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to miss you guys. So it's just so obvious. And I cannot believe brands are still posting photos of choreographed shots.
Yeah.
And it's been like 12 months since that hasn't worked.
Yeah.
And you go on someone's Instagram and it's just fancy photos, just everywhere. So I just can't believe people aren't clicking onto it quicker. Like we're not geniuses. We just weren't getting any likes. We're like, we better do something else.
Yeah.
And then so we jump behind the camera, we do podcasts and do all this crazy stuff. And then we get to share Sumin's side of the story a bit more through the vlog content now. And she's from South Korea. She's Korean. She's grown up with this product her whole life. She's exposed it to us. We've brought it to people. Just the authenticity of the story and the product. And we love Korea. We love everything about it. So then we've got a connection with it. So then we got all these features and news articles in Korean media, because then these two Aussie dudes are launching their beautiful, most prized possession in Australia. So it just doesn't end, the whole story and the connection. And then everyone will connect with us and our story in a different way. Some people think, these guys are half funny. It's, not too bad. Some people will be like, what a great, journey. These guys have had no study, no education, and they just threw themselves in it. I'm going to start getting around their content. Or it's us on LinkedIn being a bit more formal with, what we're talking about. So we're putting a lot of different content out of there.
Yeah.
We go above and beyond to put all of it out there so people can connect with us in a different way. Or people might just want to see people getting drunk at the baseball and doing crazy shit and a quick little reel like we did the other night, and that's what they want. So sort of pretty long answer, but I think just the endless storytelling, the endless ways to connect with people has sort of got us to where we are today. I'm a true believer of it.
And it comes naturally as well. And it comes off naturally, I think.
Yeah, which is important.
Yeah. So what are kind of the content pillars that are working for you? Like what are the key elements of a successful piece of content for you guys right now?
We've been pivoting a lot. We were chasing humor and comedy. We thought it was hilarious and it was performing well, and we're running over the product with cars, and it was performing really well. Then we actually transitioned that into our e-commerce strategy, and our online ads was him driving over the product in a truck, and it's just exploding everywhere. But then when the wheel goes past, it's perfect, saying, beige juice is unbreakable. It doesn't actually
completely
mean
unrelated to anything.
There's no product position. There's no customer journey. There's nothing. It's just us running it over, and it performed well. Everyone's going, hey, I'm loving all your content. Really? What about the stuff where we spoke into the camera for 20 minutes about our journey and giving, pockets of gold about how to launch a product into the market? So
Didn't catch that one,
actually. Yeah. So what was that? Just want to run over something. Yeah. So
when are you guys destroying shit in your ute?
Yeah. So it's funny trying to weigh it up. But then that performed well on an e-commerce, through ads. So our top of funnel and our return on ad spend performed really well on us running over it.
Yeah.
So it's just so ironic. So I think someone said to us sort of 6 months ago, wherever you are in 6 months' time, your content's going to be so different to what you're putting out now. And then it's going to be so different 6 months from then on as well. So I don't think you've just mastered it. It's just going to constantly evolve. And I thought that was really good advice. And it sort of made us think, sweet, let's just keep putting it out there then. Let's keep trying different things and something will hit. But yeah, like it's just pump and dump at the moment for us. It just makes you feel a bit vulnerable, those two words together, don't they?
Yeah.
Feel violated.
Oh, it's all right. Just have some beige. It'll fix it all.
Don't drop the soap around Timmy.
God damn.
Yeah.
What?
It was a really serious conversation, which is great.
So good. What's well, you know, on the development of the business and coming together with coming together, putting this product together, not really knowing what you were getting yourself into, raising content. Oh, there's a lot in this. Like, what's been the biggest misconception you've had in developing a business from when you started, and what was like the reality, and what did you learn?
Oh, for us, like for me, essentially as well. Like I think in both actually early days, were like, you know, people would say, "Oh, you guys aren't going to make any money."
I was going to say this, yeah.
You guys aren't going to make any money for at least a few years, and we're going, "Oh, fuck off, no."
You're in the car going over the Bolt TV, going, "What was that dickhead?"
Yeah.
He's ran 3 businesses,
and you soon quickly know it's that's a big reality. And like as you grow bigger, the problems just become bigger as well. So right now we have the best problem in the world, but it's still very stressful and it makes you stare at the ceiling most nights as well.
Massively.
Is we like with the product selling and getting stock and building up enough inventory is the biggest issue we have, because you know these manufacturers, most of them want some sort of financial commitment up front, and then you know when it sort of lands in it, you know, it gets shipped. Obviously, we get our stuff from Korea. When it lands, they want some more cash as well. But we haven't even sold that stock into a retailer yet, and then let alone get the order in, fulfill the order, and then wait the payment term days. So, you know, however long they be, can be sometimes 30 days into the month.
Yeah.
So, you know, getting your head around cash flow, and then obviously apart from that, there's, you know, people that work for us. Essentially, the founders are the last people to get paid.
Yeah.
And sometimes you wake up going, I should be the fucking first person to get paid, right?
Absolutely.
So that's something I just didn't need. Yeah, like it's hard, it's a you know, mental battle as well, because you know, you're going, fuck. A lot of people who work for us do great things, and we've also paid people who haven't done some great things for us as well, which is frustrating.
I remember getting 2 years in, being like, fuck, I'm not making any money until the exit.
Yeah.
I won't see a cent until the exit, and that could be in 3 years, or 5, or 8.
Yeah. Well, 15, you know, like.
Or you just pull a Red Bull and just start turning over, like making like 100 mil or 200 million cash flow every year, and
that'd be nice.
Living life and never selling.
We should do that.
Have you thought about that?
Someone told us the other day about Red Bull. Was it when they launched in New York? They just invested in all these empty cans. They just went and was putting them in bins around New York City.
Someone told us recently.
Empty cans.
I mean, there's plenty of ways.
Plenty of ways to
market. Yeah, there's plenty of ways to market. That's the saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely one. Like just the wages, the long journey that's ahead, and you're never comfortable. We finally got comfortable, and then we launched into a new market, the hardest city to launch in. CPG, FMCG product in the world, supposedly.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Just with the competition, the functional benefits, the needs. Like someone was saying that New Yorkers drink their health, which I thought was interesting. If you want collagen, you drink it. If you want extra B vitamins, blah, 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 you drink it. If you want THC and CBD, you drink it. So which I found really fascinating. So you drink your health. She's launched some really good brands here, and I was just like, wow. So then, you know, you just all of a sudden in this crazy functional beverage space, which isn't really huge in Oz, I wouldn't say, the functional space. And then you're dealing with, like, we're like, yeah, you know, the 3 founders will come in, heaps of energy, we'll do some sampling, and then you just see billboards of LeBron, you know, promoting a fucking energy drink. You're like, we got a long way to go.
I just think as well, when you're a startup, you know, and we still certainly are, you know, I think, you know, growth is great, but sometimes survival is just as important as growth. And that's something that, like, you know, I think we're definitely learning big time, as, you know, we're sort of trying to juggle 2 different markets.
Well, I've coming across an idea that just popped into my mind, and it was, what's the one reason why businesses fail?
I reckon the biggest reason is people just throw in the towel.
They just run out of money.
Yeah.
It's the only reason why business will stop. They run out of money.
Yeah.
Or
just don't run out of money. Don't ever run out of money.
Yeah, don't ever. It's like, well, like not only does a business stop, if you personally run out of money, so does your
Everyone
fucking
runs
life.
out of money.
Like you just don't. Yeah, it's like, but it's a survival game. It's a survival game. Like at certain stages, you got to just go, how do we survive, as opposed to how do we grow?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Different seasons.
Yes.
And we're in the growing season right now.
Yeah, definitely in the growing season as well. So it's like I think a big period of growth for us is any summer, really, which is why it's exciting to be over here in summer, and hopefully one day Tim and I are just going summer in Australia, summer in America.
That's what I'm working on. It's exactly what I'm working on.
But it's powerful to have 2 summers in a year as a product like ours. I think that's something we'll talk to in many years to come, talking about the benefits of that for sure.
Yeah, I'm currently bicontinental.
Yeah, it's a good way to be.
It's stressful, but it's good. I'd love to understand the market research side of things. So, what were kind of the techniques to validate whether this was going to make sense as a product?
We gave out a lot of product at the start. We literally just drove, like Liam drove, I sat in the front seat on Instagram, and we just started saying, if anyone wants to try this, just send us your address and we'll come over. And we did. We'd spend 8-9 hours in the car a day for 7 days in a week. And we're just dropping off to anyone. People started going, hey, apparently if I message you, my friend said you'll give us some free product.
Yeah.
So you're like, sick. Like, we're getting layers now.
It's working.
Which is awesome. And then the deal was just share a photo of it. So what's this, 2019? So just share a photo of you in the back with the product and we'll give you some free shit. And everyone was game. Everyone was keen.
Yeah.
And that was our starting point for 2 people with no marketing budget either, which was always challenging. We were just paycheck to paycheck. I was making $700 a week for 50 hours at the cafe. You were making something similar for 60 hours in real estate, and Sumin was bringing all the bacon in hairdressing. So we never had any money to do anything. It was always more just some legal stuff or this or saving for the next batch. So sampling was everything for us.
100%.
We had a lot of abuse, but you get 100 good reviews, and that one person that complains in a long message about how shit your product is just kills you and just deletes all the 100 bits of good energy before it. So we had to navigate lots of people not understanding when to drink it and all that sort of stuff. So we've just been educating forever. People wake up going, I woke up hungover, then I drank it and I still felt shit. It's like it says on the front, drink this before alcohol.
And then there's people you're like
abusing us for it.
There's people like, you guys are frauds, that product doesn't work. You go, oh yeah, no worries, mate. Like, cheers. But what did you do last night? And they'll be like, I had a whole bottle of Jack Daniels and I got 4 hours. I was at Crown Casino till 4 a.m. and I had to get up at work at 7. And I feel like shit. And you're like, are we seriously having this conversation? Like, so
we drink 4.
Yeah.
But we got good at asking people, run us through your night. So if someone said, hey, I feel really good, you'd be like, oh, great. What did you do last night? Someone's like, woke up with one shoe. You're like, sweet, must have worked. And then the other person's like, didn't feel good about it. Shit house, no good. So we did ask, and we're very inquisitive about people's feedback about the product. So we gave away a lot. We tried to squeeze as much information from the people we're giving the product to learn and understand a bit better. Our first product variation, we had all the science on the back, and it just confused everyone.
People don't want science.
And everyone's like, well, so what's the can you show us this, or where did you hear this? We got rid of the science and said drink this before alcohol, and everyone goes, okay. Done. And that's as simple as it is. We just dumbified it a bit more, and sales were a bit easier, and people's understanding of when to drink it and why was a lot easier. So we did a lot of good market research through sampling and chatting, and we'd be on a flight, sit next to the person. Hey, how are you? What do you do for your hangovers? Oh, you just drink punter. Oh, here, we launched this product. So we told everyone for 5 years, which is a lot of people over a long course of time. So that never ends. Like, we still do that to this day. There's 2 more people now that know about the product and hopefully walk away going, oh, the Beaches guys are all right.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So
definitely.
That was sort of our main play for understanding what we're doing and trying to validate the product for sure.
So just like asking, a lot of asking, a lot of hustle.
A lot of conversation. Which we like.
Do you think there's value in not having any money?
No.
Yes, we do like this.
We definitely. I think like if you set a budget, you're going to spend it. So I think we've
just done it.
Which we're doing right now. So like, yes, like the short answer to your question is definitely, like, I think there is 100% an advantage to being skint when it comes to, what you can invest early days in the business. Because we made some serious mistakes financially when we had little money. And it's scary to think what the damage we could have done. If we had, $1 million, $500,000, so.
Well, that's definitely the main challenge with the startup founders is people with no money getting money and going, well, all right. That's
for sure.
Anyone on me private jet now? On me PJ.
My dad was very good with me, actually. When I came home, just pumped out, I was talking about raising all this money. And he goes, that's great, mate. Just, you do realise that they expect that money to be doubled, not to just be drained. Yeah. So he's like, you do have a really big responsibility now to give these new investors that have backed you personally and as a company, you've got a responsibility to make sure that they get their money back and more.
And what happened? How did you feel when you actually had that conversation? What was your thought?
I was like, I'm glad my dad's telling me this. This is great feedback. I was like, I'm very lucky to have support like that. Yeah. And it was great. It was a great moment to just take a breath rather than get excited and be a hero. It was like, okay, how are we going to best spend this? So it just changed the conversation that I was having in my head after raising $1 million.
Yeah.
Just to be a little bit more precise, which is good.
I've got this this thing that I say when people are like, what's your budget? I'm like, it depends on how expensive you are. What's your price? The budget is whatever your price is.
A marketing agency loves it. What's your budget? They love it, don't they?
Yeah, they'll just add like 20%.
Yeah.
When someone pitches us their service, we always say the same thing, like, give us the Ferrari and then give us like the Toyota Camry.
Yeah.
Tell us what you can do for, as minimum as you can. And then what's like the silver service?
Yeah, and there's probably margin in the minimum still.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's a good model, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's expensive over here.
It is expensive. But people spend. People really spend. This place is a machine that just keeps moving in a way that I've never seen.
And it's
before.
like if you want to do a TV ad, it's like what movie star should we put in the commercial?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm feeling Matt Damon too.
Who are you aiming to get for Beijuice's major sponsor?
That's a really good question. It'd have to be someone I'm thinking like a Paris Hilton, just, he's gone off the rails a couple of times.
One of my friends used to be Paris Hilton's.
Britney Spears would be fantastic.
True. Yeah. One of my friends used to be Paris Hilton's PA, so I could probably tee that up.
That's cool. That's sick. But I guess as well, I know he's Australian, but someone like Fisher is Beijuice.
Yeah.
His tone of voice, his content, his events. He does small little grungy DJ sets at a mate's party in Palm Beach, and then he'll do a 60,000 person show. So he's still so authentic and raw. Yeah. So he's the perfect representation of Beijuice. I just wish we weren't coming to America and getting an Aussie to promote it. So But I do think people like that are pretty good representations of who we are and the craziness of the brand for sure.
Robert Downey Jr. a few years ago would have been good.
Yeah.
You're just thinking of people off the rails. I was like, Charlie Sheen.
We're going to LA. We'll go to some. So I'm sure there's a couple of rehab clinics around Beverly Hills there. We'll be able to find some good, probably cheap as well.
Cheap UGC.
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, back to the question.
Yeah, what was that?
Sorry.
No, you're so fine. We go very far out.
Oh, it's so good.
Back we go.
I love it.
The
scenic route.
Yeah, the scenic route, the actual Highway 1. Yeah. Let's talk about the distribution side of things. What were the strategies that ended up getting you to secure kind of the Woolworths and Dan Murphy stuff? Because that's a big get.
Yeah, so
massive, isn't it? Yeah.
It was unbelievable, and I think we sort of were surprised how quickly it came as well to us as well. We thought that would be years off. But essentially we had a couple of different strategies. One was Dan Murphy's have a online marketplace called Endeavour Marketplace, which is essentially just an endless shopping aisle for them. So you could brew beer in your bathtub, slap a label on it, and get it up online at Dan Murphy's. Pretty honestly, that's no exaggeration. And so what we did was we directed everyone to go and buy our product if they were buying it online from that marketplace as well.
So you moved from your personal website straight to that.
Yeah, pushed everyone there.
Just
took a huge hit
I can
on
imagine.
margins.
Yeah, huge.
What was the goal there?
The goal was that Dan Murphy's go, wow, okay, it's this product selling through online.
I'm sure it'll sell in store.
It'll sell in store.
Yeah.
And then the other one.
Fooled 'em.
And then the other one was just sort of door knocking independent grocery stores, going in, giving product on consignment, put that on the counter, mate. If it sells, pay us and we'll restock you. If it doesn't, just give us a buzz. I'll come and collect it. So
but our Dan Murphy's is a good journey for a product and a brand story. We got told no twice over 18 months. They said, no, we're not interested. We're not touching anything in the hangover space. It's not what we're about. Not interested.
Yeah.
And then we go, okay, cool. We'll just jump online, see how that goes. And then we're like, no, we want Dan's. Let's push people to that. And then we got a 12-store trial in both New South Wales and Victoria.
So what made you want to go back and go, let's try this again?
It's just the pinnacle of alcohol retail. It's where, $500,000, was it? Like
it just didn't make sense to us that they wouldn't say yes at some stage.
Yeah. And it just made so much sense. The product position, it was just our focus was Dan Murphy's. We got to get Dan Murphy's.
And also it's a product going in and it's not competing with anything else in the store because there's nothing else like it in the
pitch for us
store.
with retailers.
And they can make an extra $4 or $5 per basket with the idea.
And maybe they'll come back tomorrow because they're not over.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's another part of our pitch that we do a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so went from no online, 12 stores, 240, and now we have giant display bins on the exit. So it's a great journey, like for us and all the work we put into it, the money we've invested into it, the money we've lost from trying to push people there.
We always say that a little flex that we give for the Dan Murphy's trial is that we outsold Red Bull during that period. Now, who's buying Red Bull from Dan Murphy's? I don't know, but
not many people.
But not many people clearly. But it was a good little flex early.
And then the Woolies deal was great. We went into the meeting and said, this is how many views we got on TikTok. These are the events we're sponsoring. This is where we're sampling. These are influencers we've worked with. This is what we're going to do in summer. We're going to sponsor this festival. And they're like, wow, you guys are a really busy brand.
Yeah.
And the juice category was quite slow. It's just orange juice and apple juice.
Yeah.
So the category was sort of struggling a little bit. And like, cool, these guys might shake things up a bit in our space, in our store at that specific location.
Yeah.
Done. We're gonna give you guys a go.
Yeah.
They set a really high benchmark for like our lowest performing, numbers and statistics. And we were
So if you get below those numbers, you're out?
yeah, just about, or it's a bit of a strike system. You get 2 strikes to fix it. If it's sort of not, making any drastic changes, we're just going to pull you. And we were sort of dabbling around the threshold of getting kicked out. And we're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Let's do a TikTok campaign. Let's go find an agency. Some dude pops up as we decide this. Hey, I'm from a TikTok agency. Would you like to do an influence campaign? I'm like, mate, you've lucked out. Give me a bell. We're already in. And he's just like the easiest sell of his life.
Yeah.
And then it was 15K. We had 10K. We said, here's 10. Can we give you 5 afterwards? And they're like, oh, all right. If you don't ask, you don't get, right?
Broke.
Yeah. And so we did it. We got like
Would you take 5 now?
We got 2 million views. Everyone pushed saying, hey, we're in all these different stores. Head to Beiju's website. Go to your nearest Woolies. Go to your nearest Woolies. Go to your nearest Woolies. And our sales ticked up a little bit. We had some PR come off telling our story. And everyone's like, cool, great story. Let's go in a store. I've got a Woolies near me. So we worked our bums off to sort of get in, but we've always been really good at making sure we're converting people going there. A lot of people have landed big retailers and just sit on Instagram and hope for the best.
Yeah.
But it's just not how it works. And we buy our own stock at Woolies all the time. Yeah. My dad's car is full of it. He just buys it every single time he goes to Woolies. He'll buy 6 or 7.
And my mum used to shop at Coles and now she shops at Woolies, which I think is kind of like, you tell that to a buyer category and they're like, I don't give a shit. There's something kind of poetic about that. She's going, they got my son's product. I'm not going to Coles anymore.
I mean, it's a little wins. It's a little wins.
So that's sort of been our retail journey. We've always tried to be a busy brand, make sure we sell through, and we know that retail is key.
Yeah.
So our philosophy is to be the most accessible hangover prevention product in the market.
Yeah.
If we're the most accessible, we'll always, hold the key. We'll always be number one, and then we'll sort of transition that into the most viewed online hangover prevention product. We can nut those 2 out, most accessible, most viewed. We've got a pretty good recipe for success.
It's a recipe for success for sure. How did you go surviving building to scale with the big retailers? Because that's a big jump.
Massive jump.
Yeah. It's still a struggle to this day, to be honest.
So this is a really cool story. So when me and Sumin first went to our manufacturers in Korea, we sat down and I printed out an A4 piece of paper with all of our supermarket logos and then times New Roman how many stores I have, and went to this meeting and said, this is how many stores we're going to get into. And it was like a total of like 4,000. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Like that was my pitch. But then we end up selling the sort of dream into this, like we're in this big office, green table, Koreans with suits, short back and sides, very formal. Sumin's got piercings in her face and I've got tattoos on my knuckles, and they're just going, oh, what do these two want? But we told them, we're going, there's a massive market for this in Australia. This is how much money we spend on alcohol. These are the store layouts. I've got a cafe and we can launch it through there and prove the concept. And they're like, you know what? When we were 25, I wish I did something like this. You have our full support. And we're like, oh, what do we do now? They're like, go build a brand, go get the business set up, and we'll release you your first container. So we had a tour of the facility. It's just an amazing relationship we've had with them. Like they've been figuring it out with us half the time because they weren't exporting to Australia. So we've had this beautiful partnership, not a commercial deal. Like it's literally been a partnership. We went out for giant crab afterwards to celebrate the meeting. We went back 9 months later to see the product being produced. They took us out again. Sumin's really close with them, and to the point where they actually flew from Korea to Sydney a month ago to meet us, to see the product in Woolies and Dan's. So 14 of them flew over to meet us, and it's been a 6-year relationship we've had with these guys. But the point of telling the story is, we said to them, you've shared our vision, you understand what we're doing here, we're going for it. We just need a container, but we just don't have any money. And they're like, okay, all good, we'll send one. And then they sent a container over. They were like, what are the terms? They're like, just find your feet, we'll figure it out later. Which is just unheard of. We pretty much ticked a container of Bay Juice, which is just extraordinary. There's 95,000 little sachets we've just ticked, and he's just going, yep, don't worry about it. We've gone to Woolies, we've, met all the demands with the quantity, and we've essentially financed our business through their goodwill to just send product to us when we need it. We're saying, hey, we've got a big one coming up, we just need another container, like, we got you. So it's crazy. Like how do you find that? But it's just amazing for, these people to share our vision and our enthusiasm, and hey, they want to make a buck at the end of the day as well, and for this to perform and do really well. So that sort of really sort of built us at the start through that growth.
What do you think it was that got them so supportive? Oh, the knuckle tats.
The knuckle tat.
I definitely think sort of me being an Aussie and a Westerner, and Sumin being like a young, cool South Korean, I think they saw that as a pretty cool combo.
It's a good combo.
Yeah, I think they really saw like, oh, this is cool. Like he's from Melbourne, and they really, they love Australia. They love Australia. I think it's like an incredible place. So
it is.
Yeah, it is actually.
You don't want to achieve anything.
If you do achieve something, people will tell you to like,
you suck. Don't ever buy a nice car. But no, it is a beautiful place. Continue.
Good beaches.
I think they just got excited by it, and it was just the right time, right place, the right moment, the right energy, the right everything. And Sumin brought her dad, Do Yan Hwan, with us. And he was an adult. He's really
a good start.
Yeah.
We still bring him along to meetings, to attend as an adult. He's out the best.
But so that definitely helped as well. He owned a karaoke bar, he owned a fried chicken restaurant, he owned a denim factory. So he was a bit of a go-getter as well. Real hustler. Nice. And so he brought a lot to that as well. He's like, these guys can do this, but I've got that sort of moral support and shit like that. So that definitely helped. But yeah, I just shared the vision.
You know what? I've had a number of times in my life where you've got people genuinely wanting to support the next generation coming up, and they'll go above and beyond. They're usually older too. Yeah. And they'll go, we see you, we like you, we know you're not where you need to be, but we're here to support as much as we can.
Yeah.
Massive.
And I like that. And I think, when I'm 105 and
yes,
I'll do the same, because I know that, if I go through this journey and I have successes and have a great life and I have great experiences, and I see someone in their 20s being like, can I fucking do this? We're doing this. I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. You go, you know what?
Good on you.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I agree. We've had that philosophy a few times when we've been on the bad end of a few deals. Everyone's like, you're kidding. Like, how'd you let that happen? What did you do? Like, why have you done that? And we're like, it's all good. Like, when we're older, we just, won't make that mistake, and we won't be like that. We will always do the right thing, and we won't succumb to, this dog-eat-dog world in some facets. So we've always been, taking some losses pretty well, I think, you know what I mean? Like, just, and having that philosophy, being like, oh, well, we'll just look after people in the future. We won't do that next time, or whatever it is.
What's an example that isn't under NDA or a lawsuit?
I think
Spill the tea.
let me answer this like I'm a poly. But I think in
Are you going to pull the Biden?
In some respects, being able to tell someone who was in your position that we were in 5 years ago not to do this, as opposed to you should try and do this, is also more valuable in a way, because
What are you saying?
So I'm saying, like, we've made that many mistakes that passing on mistakes to people, I think, are more valuable than actually passing on things that, assisted at either really quick growth of the business or eventually worked out in a way. So, like end-to-end marketing agencies, we sort of bang on a bit about it, but like some of them are really good at certain things, but like, I don't think you can be, when it comes to end-to-end, certainly for us, the marketing agencies that we've experienced weren't good end-to-end, even though they claim to be end-to-end agencies. So I think, like, if we were to pass on some knowledge to people, it'd sort of be maybe to find some cheaper alternatives to some things, some pillars of the business, because we pissed a lot of money up the wall.
What's an example?
Well, one example is, like, there's people out there that have got some sweat equity, just from being in the right place at the right time, or being at the stage early, and then the value of that is so large at the moment, and they've done really well from it. And people are always like, does it bum you out that you're running around broke, and some people that haven't put money in have, made lots of money from the business and the growth? And that's sort of the main example. We're like, well, one day we'll be in the right place at the right time. We might give out some advice, get a little cut of the business, but we'll just make sure, we'll really support it and ride it home. So that's kind of the one we're sort of referencing to. You can't eat yourself up being like, a few people that were just along at the start, just cashing in now, but it's just business.
Just buy them out.
And it's just what it is. So it's pretty crazy to think people are buying and selling shares within our business. We have a board, we have board meetings. It's pretty weird. Like,
making sure that you're,
nuts.
I think, like, it sounds fairly straightforward, but something that we definitely didn't shop around enough is that legality side of the business, and making sure all the documents and all agreements between parties was all set up. And I think in favour of the founders as well. I think we've slowly sort of getting all that, getting our
better looking after
paperwork to a
ourselves.
stage. But like, I think because it's hard to know when you're not a legal guru and you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
Like, is this lawyer? They sound trustworthy, a lot of them, because they're saying all these fucking big words that you don't know about, and you go, oh yeah, that sounds like it should be in point II of section 17 of the contract. But to really shop that around, I think, is something that we would definitely have done. If we could rewind the clock, but we can't, so fucking move on.
Yeah, for sure. That's something I've always been kind of against, is the big contracts and important contracts, and I'm realizing it's probably kind of important.
Correct.
I think it just starts on the naivety of young people running business. You're like, I'm not spending $5,000 on a contract. What the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly. That's the exact mindset that we had.
It'll bite you in the eye.
$5,000 now, like,
It's said nothing.
You end up losing a couple of zeros.
I
a couple extra zeros.
Because, like, I think with like Tim, me and Sumin, like, if there was a disagreement with some sort of contract, like, we would be able to then, I suppose, like, come together and say, oh, actually, like, let's find some sort of middle ground here, whatever. But as soon as you bring people that are really passionate about you guys and the business, and you lock into a contract with people that are outside, your circle essentially, then you sort of come to learn that it's not a matter of like, some people just say, no, I'm not agreeing to that. And you can't do fucking shit about it.
Yeah.
Buy them out, or just like find another way.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's not another way. And so you learn about like how strong your relationship is when it comes down to like negotiating, minor details.
Yeah, it's my latest thing is I'm just not even interested in starting projects anymore unless it's like clear.
Like what you get out of it.
The contracts are clear.
Yeah.
Because you go down these pathways, you try all this shit, and then somewhere along the lines, maybe like it goes in the wrong direction, and because you haven't made it clear to begin with, it just becomes a mess.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've been on the bad end of it with a restaurant in the Gold Coast.
Yeah, I'm not even getting out of bed anymore.
Yeah.
Let's when you want to talk seriously and have it all written out, then sure we can.
Yeah.
Sure. I think, but that again, like I'm 31 now. That changes. You change as how you operate as you get a bit more like battle hardened.
100%. 100%. And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Well,
we got a
get
few
your contracts
bruises
now.
Yeah. We got a
Sounds
few
like
bruises.
you got your team. Yeah. But it makes you.
Yeah, it does. 100% it does. I couldn't agree more.
And the other challenge I've noticed is you can have a contract, but then enforcing that contract is a whole other ball game.
Exactly.
Yeah, pulling someone up and not delivering on their scope of work.
And you're like, take me to court. See you there.
Yeah,
50 grand later.
Yeah, true.
And then it's like, oh wait, and then you have to get. If you get a positive enforcement, then it's like actually getting the money is a whole other thing.
Correct.
Why do we start doing businesses?
Yeah. I got a really good piece of advice from one of the co-founders of Spilt Milk, the festival.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to him about an issue I had with an artist I was booking a while ago, and he said to me, he's like, look, when you're starting out, you're going to just have to eat shit on really bad contracts. And you just have to accept it. He's like, you should have seen some of the contracts that I've signed over the years. But when the numbers become bigger and you become bigger, you have way more say. And you can really impact those, the terms on those contracts. And no one's going to enforce a $10,000 contract. When it's $500,000, you're going to be okay. You have much more leverage.
Yeah, definitely.
So that gave me a little bit of
that's good. I like
appreciation of this is just the space that I'm in.
Got to eat a bit of shit.
Yeah, definitely.
And eventually, hopefully, the numbers become big enough and the lessons have been learnt in the $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 contracts where most, it's reasonable money, but when you're going to scale and you're trying to, you have big ambitions, like it's nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, spot on.
So anyway,
contract life, hey?
Yeah, contract life. Well, on that note, how did you approach failure, and how do you make it a learning experience than a big discouragement?
I think like one thing that I've always thought that if, Beige was to go bankrupt tomorrow and shit hit the fan, I'll be pretty good at my next venture. So I do take that in my stride pretty frequently. And it definitely helps knowing that, we can order a container from overseas. You know, like we can do a good contract now. We can get better margins. We know how to argue with retailers instead of pretending they're gods and saying yes to everything. You buy it back and you get more money from them. You know what I mean? Like all these little things. So I think with all those little learnings, I always just tell myself, I've, put myself in a great position. I've grown as a person, whether it's a son or a partner or whatever it is, grown as a business owner all through this and, building the resilience and all that. So everything you benefit, far away, like outweighs any of the negatives that you sort of, incurred over the time. So I think that's definitely helps sort of deal with it, I think.
Just playing long term. Just like sticking it out.
When you make a mistake, you look back and when you make a mistake, you look back, you go, well, I didn't fucking know.
Yeah, but I think the thing with Tim and I is like we've always been doing shit together. So we kind of bugger something up and laugh it off.
Yeah,
really, because
true.
And that came from like early days where when we used to door knock for the Peter Mac Cancer Foundation, and we sign people up for monthly donations. So people don't. And I used to do that for electricity, and that's when people would like be like, "Get off my property!" Right? But but when you're raising money for cancer, people are a little nicer when it comes to rejection. But every now and then you get someone to tell you.
I'm not. I'm just like, fuck off. Just stare them in the eye.
Yeah.
Ballsy.
Yeah, fuck off. But like, so when that would happen,
never. That's a joke.
So when that would happen out in the field, we'd sort of wait a couple of houses and be like, what a fucking dickhead that guy was. You know, just laugh it off. Like, you know, just laugh it off. So
it definitely helps, doesn't it?
I think we just sort of take everything in our stride, really. And that's our philosophy, isn't it now?
There's something I have noticed is people that tend to be successful in business are either used to be door knockers. They used to be competitive sports players in like high school or competitive gamers.
That's solid.
Seem to just lock into business down the line.
Every interview you do from now on or guest, ask them like one of those three.
Well,
and if they're not, they can leave.
Not interested in your story.
The door knockings, the outdoor knocking journey is funny. Like if there's a biopic that comes out eventually about the three of us and the story of Aegis, which let's be honest, it'll probably happen.
Expose.
But the door knocking journey is so funny because I was like out in Point Cook doing electricity door knocking, hating life, and I see a photo of Tim and he's in a suit in this office, like with a takeaway coffee cup. And I'm like, what is this dickhead doing now? I called him. He's like
20 or young as well.
Yeah. He's like, do you want to come in for an interview? I came in for an interview, and what was it? Turns out it was door knocking as well. but for the Peter Mac Cairns Foundation, and then we moved on doing stuff for Oxfam, where you could buy people like goats and. So basically what would happen is
it took you a second to process it. I watched that full.
So what would essentially happen is that the goat, you'd buy a goat or a chicken or whatever, and they'd give that to a malnourished family in somewhere
in Point Cook.
In Africa or something. You're shouting him a pig.
But it's like buy something at Christmas. So you got that auntie that you don't like. You just buy her a goat. She doesn't actually get the goat.
The African family get the goat. These get a fridge magnet of what the goat is.
To be honest, no one wins in this situation really, because
except for Oxfam.
Because I've given you a present and you're going, so what did you get me for Christmas? And you go, I've given you fuck all basically. I've given you a card that says the goat's been taken out of like probably some the
goat's an NFT.
The goat's probably been taken out of some grassy paddock where it's been munching
its life.
Dumped in a desert in Africa. And the African family's probably going, not another fucking mouth to feed. Like, no one wins in that situation. No one wins.
Not another mouth to feed. You meant to eat the goat, I think.
Yeah, I think but essentially that's what we were doing. And like, so, and people like at the day, it's kind of like going up to people being like, we've got a hangover prevention. Like there's already this mystery or this curiosity when you say that to someone, because not very many people are familiar with hangover prevention products. So when you knock on someone's door and you're like, hey mate, do you want to buy a goat for a goat? It's also
a good hook.
Yeah, it's a great hook. It's a great hook. Anyway. I think that was called good old fashioned sidetracked.
That's great.
Is that what noise goats make?
I don't know what noise a goat makes actually.
Quickly though, I'd like to chat about our sponsor Vitadrop. Vitadrop is an Australian-based hydration and supplement company that has 4 amazing products, one of which I try to take every night before bed, a magnesium sleep sachet. The first time I took this sleep sachet, I woke up the next morning with a 30% jump on my REM sleep, which was recorded on my Whoop, and I thought it was a typo. It has improved the sleep of both myself and people that I've recommended it to so much that I had one friend say to me, and this is word for word, mate, Vitadrop is life-changing. I spent 7 hours straight asleep for the first time in 10 years, 3 nights in a row, and I can't believe it. They're also not a one-trick pony. They have a bunch of different drinks for different purposes, including a general hydration drink, a focus drink, which I have here, that can replace your morning coffee, and a collagen supplement. So if you're interested, use the code TOT for 25% off your next order. It helps you with a discount and it helps us allow the podcast to continue. So I think that's a win-win in my books. Now back to the episode. So what's been your favorite failure then? Like if you could pick one where you're like, that fucking sucked, but then a year or two later when it came out in the wash, you were like, wow, we needed that.
There's not many failures that you really need, but
I think maybe not a failure, but a breaking point, maybe we could call it, would be laughing at the times we don't have any money at all.
3 cents.
There's zero money, and then we will piss ourselves because we'll get an invoice for like 10 grand for something. And then we were like, oh, you're kidding. Of course this comes now.
Yeah.
And as we were saying, how bullshit is this one's coming? You get a $7,000 invoice. You're like, oh, fuck, I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
And we just look at each other and go, 17K, where the fuck are we going to pull that from?
Yeah.
Like,
And then what happens?
we just sort of figure it out. Like we're just like, all right, well, what do we need to do? Well, we have to pay this in 30 days. What can we do? So just ask heaps of people, can we borrow 50K? We've got, no, literally, I'd ask 3 or 4 people, can I borrow $50,000? These are our 3 purchase orders. We've got 65 coming in, but in 30 days, we have to pay this bill today. There's no scenario of not paying it. So eventually my dad will like look at all the purchase orders, stress out. Are you sure it's going to come through? He's a man of, you don't own it until you're holding it. Yeah. So borrowed 50 grand off dad, paid off a couple of bills and then paid him back straight away in 30 days. I'm like, holy shit, that was close. Let's never get there again. Then all of a sudden we're a couple of $100,000 in debt, 6 months in time, just ordering bulk stock. No, that one we just held on for dear life. That one you asked daddy.
when we paid his dad back, he was like, oh, bullshit. He just accepted it. He gave it us thinking he's never seen another dollar
accepted
from
that fate. It comes to doing business with the family.
Absolutely fair enough to have that as well, but also like be like, oh, come on, Pete. Like, we're always going to do it. Like, it was always our intention to pay it back.
So at breaking point, we perform. Yeah. So one of my favourite lines is, being calm amongst the chaos.
Yeah.
Like to be able to be that person, to be able to do that during really high intensity moments. That's why sporting superstars are so good, because in that breaking point, in that moment, they perform. We like to try and do that as much as we can through business. And I think we're really good at performing in that way. We don't freak out. We take a deep breath and we go, what the fuck, what's the answer? And there's always an answer. There's always a solution. The first 5 people you're asking for money, they're just like, what the fuck? But, the 5th person comes through. So I do think we really are good at performing, at that breaking point, which I think is a cool and a really good way to be, launching a business and going into international markets, landing new doors, having to, sell the product, not just get the product in stores. So, yeah.
Do you think that having a good co-founder has been critical to being able to survive?
Massively.
I would have thrown in the towel by myself. Can I just say that?
But we know people that are doing it solo and it's tough.
Fucking tough.
And you talk to them and they go, it's tough. Wish I had a co-founder.
Yeah.
But then there's, you got to have one that you gel with as well. Like one of our co-founders is my ex-girlfriend. It's pretty crazy.
How did that go?
And all 3 of us lived together, for 2-3 years at times, and spent every day together, every minute together. We all worked at the cafe together, all 3 of us, to make a couple of bucks to buy some beers on the weekend. But that works amazing now because we all know each other so well.
Yeah.
So I know how to manage. But I know really well how to work with Sumin.
Yeah.
And I know what will get her to boiling point. So you don't hit her with the hardcore stresses that I'd hit Liam with.
Yeah.
You just sort of feed a few of them to her so she has an understanding of the business and she has an understanding of why we're doing what we're doing, where we're allocating our time, where we're allocating the money. So then she'll understand. Yeah. But don't stress her out. Because her role at the moment is to worry about the forecast, getting better prices and make sure there's enough pairs out there.
Yeah.
That's your role. As soon as you steer away from that, we run out of pairs, we have no money, the business is fucked. No money.
No money.
No money. It'll get you.
It will get you.
So I think we're really good at sort of working together as well. So you got to have someone that you can mold with and understand.
How do you maintain a good co-founder relationship? How do you deal with
celebrate
challenges?
The wins?
Yeah, 100%. Like that's one thing I learned as well when like the other jobs I've been at that were high intensity, and this is pretty high intensity. Like sure, we have a little time off and some calm time, but fucking it's just a shit show. A lot of the times a shit show.
Yeah.
And yeah, we like actually celebrating the wins and milestones is like so good for morale.
Yeah. Dinners, drinks, let's go get pissed. Let's hug each other. Let's get up photos from the first run.
Let's sit back and fucking pat ourselves on the back because no one really does that for us, really.
Yeah,
especially in Australia. So,
but also but we don't go, good work, man. We don't do that to each other. But that's Sumin does that so well. She's like, good work, boys. Can't believe you went and did that. Great job. Oh. Thanks, Sumin.
But it feels like,
cheers. We are busting our bum over here.
Yeah.
And she's sort of just doing her little role, and she goes, "Hey guys, you guys are smashing it." And you're like, "Oh." you know, it makes me feel really nice. It's so nice to hear that.
And it's like not only is it good for morale, but I think it stops or at least prolongs a period before you burn out. Like I've seen people, like when we were in real estate, we'd sell these great properties, and there was like bang on to the next one straight away, and you could see people get they just get burnt out.
Yeah.
There's been times where you've cooked it, and I've stood up, and then I've cooked it and gone off the radar for 2 weeks. I ran away to Queensland for fucking 10 months.
So back to your question.
I was like, oh yeah, I'll jump on Zoom. Sorry, I missed that one.
Yeah, so back to why it's important to have a co-founder. 100%. I think that's one of the reasons why.
Yeah, I've noticed. I've kind of read that somewhere as well, where you've kind of, when you got two founders, you're just kind of all breaking down at different times.
Yes, literally. Yeah. And when I'm really sick, then obviously we spend so much time together, so I pass it on to you, and then you end up having a week on, week off. It's a shit show.
Forced rest.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm conscious of time, and I just wanted to get a couple of more questions. Long enough. No, actually, I have no idea. I didn't put a timer on, but you've still got time. We're going to get you to your next meeting. So, what's if there was a young entrepreneur that wanted to, start their own business and take on the world, what kind of advice or lessons have you taken from your experiences that you would give them, to get the ball rolling?
Don't fucking do it.
No.
Would you actually say that?
No, not at all.
I'd sort of speak to realizing, a couple of years in, that this was the best time to go for it.
Yeah.
No mortgages, no children.
That you know of.
Yeah, know of. But just working, making some easy money, launching a product or sort of launching a business in Australia is great. You can make some good money working just on the weekend. That can sustain you. And then we worked on the weekend in Hospo, worked all week in doing Beiju. So it's doable. You don't need to quit your job at all. Ever. You just have to work harder. Like I was doing 40, 50 hours a week at stages. And then again, choosing to work on the weekends to free up 2 days during the week, Monday, Tuesday, set up the week, Tuesday, do the meetings where everyone's online and try and make it happen. So you just there's always ways to maneuver starting it. You don't have, if you want to launch a restaurant, you need millions of dollars. A good restaurant or a good venue. But if you want to launch a product, our first container costs us, like 30, 35 grand. So
it's still a reasonable amount of money for the first container.
We could have done a lot less though. We were tempted to do like a $10,000, $15,000 order. So we know a couple of founders that have just saved up, done their first batch, saved up, done their second batch. So it doesn't have to be this big, giant raise, hire 2 staff members, get a little office, you can just start small. So I really do think anyone can definitely do it. In that realm.
And I think one thing I would say is more so being able to pass on knowledge of, because you can't predict what, and we're never people that go on stage and go, you got to do this, you got to do that. We just go, this is what worked for us and this is what didn't work for us.
Because it's a different experience.
But you can sort of let people under the bonnet when it comes to the emotional aspect of it, because it's a lonely journey. It's really lonely. And also I quit my job in real estate to go work at a cafe hospitality, at 26, 27, when really, the world's
buying houses,
everyone's buying houses, getting married, having kids.
Now 31, 29.
And here I am working as well with a bunch of people straight out of school, hospitality, it's bottom of the, bottom of the
It is
ring.
in Australia, but it's not here.
That's what's great. It's like a career here.
Like $1,000 a night.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's amazing.
But I think passing on sort of that to people, because I think that is something that is sort of commonly felt amongst the sort of startup community is that the loneliness of it, and then you're watching people around building their careers in the corporate world or whatever it is, and buying houses, having kids, getting married, and you think, oh, am I a bit behind the 8 ball here? But the reward, I think, at the end,
we'll find out.
Is
so far it's been good. We're going to travel the world for our business with us, mate. So it's
which is amazing. It's about the memories, right? You're hanging out with your friends, doing cool shit.
Literally.
Fun shit.
That is the other thing as well, and this is why we said before about not burning out. Sort of being able to have the ability to step back and go, you know what we're doing here is pretty cool. We're on a fucking plane right now to New York, not for a holiday, because business warrants us to be over there, and what we've done for 5 years in Australia has given us the opportunity to come over here and do that. That's fucking cool.
So it's worth it. So that was kind of the summary of just you've got to try it, because it's definitely worth it.
Get into it.
But if it doesn't work, it's You're still all right.
Yeah, you'll be okay. Yeah, for sure. I do like Australia as an idea validating market.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that there's really good operators in Australia, and most of them don't get out of Australia.
Yeah, definitely.
But you have to be good. You have to be well branded.
Yeah.
You have to have a good product. You have to be well priced because people are tight asses.
Massive.
And you can take those skill sets and bring them to a market like America and just crush.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the Americans I've noticed don't have that headspace. They're too lucky. They're not as scrappy.
Yeah. I guess
they don't need to be.
Yeah,
especially
definitely
in this city as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Serious coin around.
It's ridiculous. And it's quite inspiring though.
Definitely. Definitely.
It's a good observation as well. And one thing, and I think even when it comes to the product world, is like the not like just the variety of choice that you have over here, and different products do different things. Whereas it's pretty. Like I feel like the product space in Australia is starting to boom a bit more because I was thinking that last night. I'm like, I can't remember being a kid or like being that 7 to 15s and then like seeing something new.
Yeah.
Like on the shelf. Like, whereas like now that I know we're well in the industry, but you see products in different spaces. Like I don't think there has been as much innovation. Like there's been way more innovation in the last sort of 5 to 10 years than there was previously.
Yeah. It's because the cost of getting off the ground is so much lower now.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, for sure.
The cost of the knowledge is zero.
Yeah.
The cost of building a point of sale is $20 a month.
Yeah.
Like the cost of getting suppliers from overseas is zero.
Yeah.
You can do it on Alibaba. You can do it on an email. And that results in, you can do it with one person.
Yeah.
And now you bring AI into this whole thing.
True.
You can do even more with just one person. So you'll probably notice in the next 5 or 10 years, again, just more and more solo creators, solo products, 1 or 2 staff with a team of AI turning over millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Because it's achievable now.
Yeah.
So that checks out.
That's what we should have done.
You're doing well. You're making you still can.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Suck everyone AI. No, sorry.
Enhance.
Yes.
Enhance. Okay, just moving on to some more general questions. I like this one. What views do you have that would make most people either scratch their head or get angry?
The fact that I'm not very religious. The fact that people, it creeps me out that people worship a story that there's just no validation on.
Fair enough.
Well, there's 10 different alternatives to the one story, but I don't know, I guess it makes people happy, which is okay. And nothing against that, but I just can't process it all.
It's I like to think of it as like a mountain with the same endpoint.
Yes, yeah.
People going up the same mountain in different ways.
That's always a bit interesting one. And people here are so religious.
Yeah. Have you tried ayahuasca?
I know someone who has, and
that'll make you religious.
Yeah. But I know that's the only controversial thing I could potentially think of.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the world could do with a bit of a glass of concrete and can harden it up in some areas. But I mean, let's not get into it, shall we?
That was the point.
I know. It's a very risky question to ask, but yeah.
Not bad. Yeah, the world's gone a bit soft.
I think it's gone a bit soft.
We are a little bit soft these days.
Yeah,
little snowflakes.
Yeah.
And like, I'm getting to an age where I'm like, you see people filming shit, I'm like, fucking get off your phone, look up and take it in with your eyes, kind of.
Yeah.
But also, I'm guilty of that as well.
Yeah.
So
I saw this.
our generation is like in this weird.
We're in this weird limbo. We're stuck in the middle.
Because we are like we are addicted to technology, but also we do have this appreciation. I still think of bricks and mortar.
Yeah. I think that's what'll make us really good leaders down the line because we aren't fully digital and we aren't boomers.
Yeah.
We're the last generation of people who have remember pre-internet, but are so entrenched in the internet culture.
Yeah, 100%.
See what happens. What's the biggest thing in the last 2 years you've changed your mind on?
I hated dogs 4 years ago, and now I sleep with one.
Don't call your girlfriend a dog.
Bless little Marge, my dog. Not my girlfriend, Marge, my dog. So no one gets this far in the podcast, do they? No one did on ours. I don't know. I have so many waves of
I used to not eat
success
egg 2 years ago. I've never had an egg in my life.
Interesting.
Up until 2 years ago. Same with tomato. I used to throw tomatoes out of sandwiches. I can't believe I didn't do that. I can't believe I did that.
What were you thinking?
Well, I don't know. Like, I just eating dry sandwiches, clearly. Because tomato is so
But what
key.
what was your logic about like, no tomato?
I don't fucking know. I don't know. It's like, I used to have my steak well done. But like years ago.
Can't trust anybody that has a well done steak.
I used to work in hospital.
That's a red flag. That's actually an ick.
Absolutely. And like, we used to sit in restaurants with my parents to be like jokingly with the waiter, like, yeah, cremate it. And like, they take it literally. Like, they come out and be like,
oh God!
I'm glad we've moved on from that. That's good.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, we have. I used to, like, when I was working in hospitality, it'd be like, mate, we've already killed the cow.
This is growth.
Yeah.
And this is improvement of taste. This is refinement.
Correct.
But I was going to say before, like, I always have waves of why. You know, like, not saying like I don't love what I do and I don't want to continue pursuing what I'm doing, but you do have moments of like, why? Like, you get you sell for $20 million, you've got whatever equity, you get 5, buy a house, you go to sleep, probably still drink the same beer, go to the same pub. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so funny that this little cycle of...
You okay, man?
This little cycle of sort of life that you sort of chase and pursue and stuff like that. So I feel like every now and then you just have a little moment and then I don't know, you chase success and then you have little moments just with your little dog cuddling, being like, how simple and good's life, you know? Having a cuddle with your dog on the bed, watching a movie. And the next day he's like, how do I get to the stage where I have a jet and I can go wherever I want, whenever I want? Because you're watching Succession. Like, how do I get there? I want to get there. And the next day, you're like, I just want to sleep in a day and do fuck all. So I just feel like the mentality of just sort of life a little bit just ebbs and flows so much for me personally anyway. I just have so many moments of, I'm just going to just go in a van and just travel around Australia for 6 months. Or then the next day I'm like, how can I make money to live luxuriously?
Well, I think
such different ends, but the ones that you contemplate.
Yeah, I think the point of it all is to do things that are interesting to you.
Yes. Waking
up, doing something that you enjoy doing and find some meaning in, and solving problems with people you like.
Yeah.
That's 80% the way there.
Yeah.
I just think it's always like having something to chase, I reckon.
Well, that's a trap. That's a little bit of a trap.
Yeah, but
because if you're saying the fun, the best parts of life are these little moments that don't include the chasing.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile those two things?
Yeah, but getting out of bed to go and walk the dog, essentially chasing that moment, really. It's not it's not your only agenda, but I just think like, I think all humans like tire of repetition.
Yeah.
And that's what
Novelty is great.
That's what stumbles people's direction in life. And, you know, they go, like Tim says, what are we fucking doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
someone said it amazingly. I saw on a reel the other day. And it was a guy being a smart ass to like a mentor and a bit of a public speed. And he goes, so how can I just achieve everything? And, you know, being a smart ass, really open. And the guy goes, it's easy. Which any time in your whole life you ever have a decision, just choose the one that excites you a little bit more than the other one. You'll be sweet. Next question. And I was like,
it's true.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whatever, whichever one excites you that bit more, do that one.
Well, it's like also they say,
like,
if you've got a 50-50, if you toss a coin, like you go heads, I'll do this, tails, I'll do that. You'll know when the coin's in the air what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because
you hope for one of them.
I hope it lands on heads, actually. You know, like, whereas you couldn't actually make that decision yourself.
Yeah. So there you go. That's a cool one.
Nice. And what's the kindest thing anyone's ever done for you?
I think
put up with our shit.
Like is it too just broad to just say just constantly just having people support, like just people supporting you is
do you have an
such
example?
An amazing act of kindness. I think just my parents all the time, just allowing me to do this all the time and never give me any restraints or anything like that. If there's ever a moment I need to bitch about the business, or there's a moment I want to, talk for 20 minutes about all the exciting things and them not understand, but just hear me out, or financial issues, or I'm not getting paid enough, I need to go away, can I borrow some money? Of course, just their ongoing support. Is something when I heard the word kind, then I was just like, I just have so much support in my life from people with all these little moments and allowing me everything I want to do.
And you?
No real. I think like there's a, like what Tim just said is pretty spot on. You can take that for granted. Certainly at some stages you think like, I'd do that for my kids, but then you meet people and they don't have that support from their parents. And like for our parents to spend the money they did sending us to, to get educated is something I sort of look at mum being like, why did you fucking do that?
You fool.
Yeah.
And it was expensive too.
It was expensive, but also it probably introduced us to a new world. Because where we were from, northwestern suburbs, wasn't where we're going to school was like Tim and I had cop gags of like, what time does your flight leave today, fellas, to go home? Like
an hour train away.
Yeah. It's like I'm actually closer to the CBD than you, but anyway, that's all right. I think I don't know where I was going with that, but it's just no one's really sort of opened the door for us and.
Yeah, I've got one actually. I was trying to get into the new school after getting expelled, and I just couldn't get in there. Like I just couldn't find a school. And one of Dad's best friends, Simon Madden, he goes, I'd leave it with me. And Tim Fleming. So two of my dad's friends went into the principal's office and just vouched for me.
Shit out.
Beat the shit out of this guy. I started on Monday. But they went in there and just vouched for me and just said like, nah, you have to get him in. And they did that as an act of kindness for my mum and dad who was stressing out and to support me. So I guess that was one little actual moment. Someone was really overly kind to support me.
Cool.
There you go.
What did you take from that?
It's like legends. Cheers, guys. But I guess I was just young at the time and didn't appreciate it. And then now you sort of tick over and like, that's good effort from those blokes.
Yeah,
Cheers.
I guess you can. I guess when the chance comes, you can do the same.
Yeah, exactly right. Bingo.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for your time, guys. I appreciate it a lot.
It's been awesome.
It's been great.
Great chat.
It's been a good chat.
Yeah,
for sure.
Loved it.
Yeah, I love that. And you've got just quickly, what is there anything exciting that's going on in your worlds at the moment that you want to let the listeners in on?
We've been working on some new products lately, which is kind of exciting. Something more for the next day. So in that sort of electrolyte sachet kind of effervescent-y sort of realm. So we're looking forward to dabbling into some hydration just to complement the product. So we're excited to rebrand something and have all those challenges again. But no, I think it's just trying to make New York work is hyper focus.
Oh yeah, I understand.
Our product's in 150 plus stores here. We're getting more by the day. That's as exciting as it gets, I reckon.
Yeah.
Walking into a bodega here and seeing it there is magic.
Congrats.
Yeah, it's been fucking awesome.
It's been good. It's been awesome.
Very fun. And where can people find you guys if they're interested?
Hit us up personally on LinkedIn if they want, but on our website there's a store located there. You can buy us on Amazon, everywhere. I'm sure you got lots of Aussie listeners as well. Woolies, Dan's, BWS, pretty much everywhere in that country, which is great. So hopefully in no time we're as accessible in America.
Yeah, cool. And what's the handles and the websites and stuff?
Drink Bay Juice
Drink
for
Bay
everything.
Juice for
it's
everything.
Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so the old TikTok.
Yeah.
Fucking TikTok kills me.
It's wild.
Hard.
Kills me.
It's a hard.
TikTok's great though.
The only video we've gone viral
I think
on.
it's bigger here as well.
The only video we've gone viral, like our best performing videos had 850,000 views and 50,000 shares. And it was us talking about a glory hole on a podcast. Not one bit of brand. We're actually wearing someone else's branded hat.
Yeah.
So there's no product, there's no storyline, there's nothing. It's just this girl who calls in and tells a story about, sucking someone off on a glory hole. And that's our one video that cracked. We were talking about this before, so yeah, follow us on TikTok to hear about glory holes. If that's not a hook, I don't know.
But that's just like the knee jerk, the kick. Yeah, like the internet kicks you when you're down.
Yeah,
and we're going because like the thing with like what I think.
Sorry, we're going off again here.
What we're learning is it's like we can go this is a great idea and this is going to go viral and no one fucking gives a shit about it. And then you, like I said, you just naturally post something and it takes off. And you just go, why? Nobody knows. Fugazi.
He knows. He's brilliant when it comes to creating viral content. We'll talk about it later.
Yes, we shall.
Yeah. And the last question I have, it's a very easy little one. What's the meaning of life?
I don't know.
To wake up looking forward to your day would be a good start.
Yeah, just to find happiness.
Okay. And drink beige juice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tim, Liam, thank you.
Thank you. It's been a good chat. Appreciate it.
Of course. And if for anyone listening, if you could give this a 5 stars, a like, or a 1 star, whatever, give us a subscribe. It helps us a lot. And we'll see you next time.
Love it. Thanks, gang.
Thanks so much. Cheers. Bye.
Good hustle. Yeah, cut.